yes. Castanovians. I think we're live now. It's telling me that we're live. You can never tell with YouTube live. She's an unpredictable mistress. But anyway, yes. The Castanovians. Alright, so what we're gonna do in this stream is I'm gonna teach you how to get more dates with hotter women from cold approach. Okay, so if you're somebody who resonates with my content, then you probably don't want to be hanging around nightclubs. You probably don't want to be swiping on a screen. You probably don't want to be DM women on social media like a simp. And you probably don't want to try and strategically shag Susie through your social circle. So you've come to the realization that me and over 200 of my clients have come to where daytime cold approach becomes the only viable option. And without needing to put labels on any of these things, all this really is learning how to talk to people, right? That's it. I'm just helping guys not learn how to cold approach, but really become the version of themselves who cold approach can work for. And the beautiful thing about what I do is I make my guys aware of you've already got everything you need, right? Already got everything you need to be fuckable. It's just a lot of this time is buried beneath bullshit. It's buried beneath layers of social conditioning, compliance, putting on a mask. Like maybe you work a corporate job right now and you feel as though you're getting your bollocks strangled every single day. You walk into that estrogenic environment. You feel as though you have to watch what you say. Oh, don't rock the boat. Don't piss off Sally from HR. And it's no wonder why guys are struggling today. But you've probably realized now that it goes a lot deeper than just approaching women. For me, daytime cold approach is the most aggressive form of self-development. So what we're going to do in this stream is I'm just going to give you the thing that you probably want right now. Yeah, you probably want a predictable, reliable way to bring hotter women into your life without relying on any of the nonsense that's being shoved down your throat. So that's what we're going to do in this stream. It's probably going to be a long one. I've got 13 things that I'm going to give to you, and I know what I'm about to tell you actually works because it's already worked for over 200 of my clients. And also, please understand that the things that I talk about in these streams, we're kind of just scratching the surface. All right. If you want to go deeper, right, if you want to go balls deep into understanding the exact step-by-step system that I install into my clients, then what I've done is I've put together a blog post which you can access right now. It's completely free. Just click the first link underneath this video and you can read. I feel as though not a lot of people read enough anymore. I feel like a lot of people don't write blogs anymore. But I've put together a blog post which essentially pulls back the curtain on the exact system which has allowed hundreds of men just like you to get dates on demand with wife-worthy women. All right, understand? I don't teach game, I teach anti-game. Okay, for me, game is manipulation tactics. It's a 5-minute sales pitch. It's 5 easy tricks to get any woman into bed. But at some point, she realizes the version of you that she fell for wasn't the actual you. It was you who was wearing a mask, okay? Because old school game is focused on acquisition. It's not focused on retention. But for me, I don't see the point of investing my time, my energy, and my resources into a woman that I'm only gonna see for one night. Yeah, I think the real game is about retention, and also it's about leading with authenticity, so you continue to be the version of yourself who that woman fell for in the first place. So yeah, I mean, let's just crack into it. I've got notes that I've made, so we're gonna go balls deep. Like I say, I go a lot. I'm a lot more coherent in the blog post, so it took me a long time to write. But in that post, you'll see my entire system. You'll see the guys who it's worked for. You'll be able to see yourself, hopefully, in some of my clients, because all the guys that I work with do. They all start off with the same self-limiting beliefs. Like they might have this belief that they're too old. They might think approaching women is creepy. They might have this fear that they've left it too late. Some of my guys thought they were too young. Others thought they were too old. Pretty much all of them had this belief that what if cold approach just doesn't work for me? You know, it's kind of one of the biggest fears that I see in guys. Oh, will this work? Will it work for me? And it's like, yeah, it works as long as you do. Yeah, again, just look at it as talking to people. That's all you're doing. You're just learning how to deliver the value that you've built to the world, putting out invitations to the world. Some women are going to love you, others are not going to love you. But really, the game is about finding your fuck yeses, not going out there to try and game the maybe girls. It's really not even seeing it as being rejected. Like the guys that I work with, they're not running game, they're running a filter. Okay. And this is why you need to be rejected as well. Like, if you're not being rejected, you're doing something wrong. I've been rejected more than anybody else that I know because I've just taken more shots than anybody else that I know. And the reason why rejection doesn't phase me anymore is because I literally go out with the intention to be rejected. And that might sound crazy, but the reason why I do that is because by leaning in to the rejections, I filter for my fuck yeses. Okay. And it's important that you do pay attention to the women who want you because it'll make your dating life a lot easier. A lot of guys are wasting time on women who've got no interest in them whatsoever. But anyway, we'll get onto that a little bit later. So, the first thing that I want to give you, if you want to start getting dates with hotter women from Cold Approach, is to look better. All right. So, yes, looks matter, but probably not in the way you think. Okay. There is a huge difference between looking good and being good looking. And it's within any man's power to improve upon what he's been given and play his hand to the best of his ability. Okay. If you look back at my oldest content, you'll see compared to how I look now, the version of me that was speaking to you 5 years ago, I was very different. Okay. And it's not to say that looks are the only thing. This is a huge mistake guys make, especially guys who go really deep into the black pill rabbit hole where they think it's all about looks. The only way to get women is by having the most symmetrical jaw, so I need to go shoot tennis balls in my basement. Really, the way that I see looks is looking good isn't open. Yeah, looking good buys attention, but it doesn't sell the product. Imagine you bought a Bugatti, but imagine when you got the Bugatti, its engine was missing, right? So it might look great, it might have the best paintwork possible, it might look fantastic on a social media post, but if you can't drive it, then what's the point? And this is the way that I see looks. I was actually just on a coaching call about 15 minutes ago, and me and one of my clients were talking about the importance of looks. And I said to him, for me, looking good feeds into my emotional states. Yeah, like walking out into the world, looking and feeling your best, emphasis on your best as well, because there's always going to be guys who are objectively better looking or who have more muscles or who have more status. But if you can walk out the house feeling like your hashtag best self, then that's a great place to be. But I think that a lot of guys make the mistake of thinking looks is the main thing. Yeah. And really, it's understanding different or each gender's buying patterns or attraction triggers. Yeah, there's a really great piece of literature. I don't know if you've read it. It's called A Billion Wicked Thoughts. And effectively, it looks at male and female sexual preferences via the porn that they watch, but it's all anonymous. So, because it's anonymous, it speaks more directly to the truth. So it looks at what men and women are searching anonymously. And the findings are really interesting. In fact, I've actually got a summary. I got ChatGPT to summarize the literature. So I thought I'd just read you this because I think it's really crucial into understanding how do you actually win in the modern dating game, where it feels as though all the advice is overwhelming. You're getting conflicting advice from one, whatever they call themselves, coaches or gurus, and it's like you just want to learn how to get the women that you want at the end of the day without feeling as though you need a Harvard degree in intersexual dynamics. So the summary of A Billion Wicked Thoughts is very interesting. So just let me read it to you. It says women are not women are not primarily turned on by looks or visuals. They're turned on by emotion, story, status, personality, tension, and power dynamics. Female desire responds to context, not just appearance. Women are attracted to archetypes, confident, powerful, decisive, socially valuable men far more than physical traits alone. Your vibe, dominance, emotional intelligence, and direction matter more than your jawline. Create tension, lead, and show depth. That's what drives female arousal. In short, men chase visuals, women chase experience. And this confirms a really beautiful quote by one of my mentors, Zan Perion, who said that men become aroused through their eyes, women become aroused through their ears. And I've always loved that. So my advice to you, and certainly the way that I view this whole game of looking good versus being good looking, is just looking good. It's not enough because it ignores that men and women are attracted to different things, and I think you learn these skills as well via cold approach. But if you can understand things like dominance, assertiveness, leadership. Again, these traits are developed through cold approach, becoming a risk taker, going after what you want without apology, not giving two flying fucks what other people are going to think of you, becoming an independent thinker, questioning the status quo. These are attractive personality traits. And I think men, they've almost got lost in the social media red pill culture of, it's all about looks. Not really, because if you can understand that men and women are attracted to different things, then the way that you perceive the game of, looking better, it starts to change. And this is not giving you license to be lazy, it's giving you permission to be free. Because the last thing that you want to do is become one of these guys who puts all of the emphasis on the way that he looks, his physical appearance, but is still a little boy on the inside. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, do everything within your power to look and feel as good as possible. I think fitness and fashion are the two easiest areas to improve. But then understand it's really the underlying characteristics which they project your proclivity as a protector. Just having a symmetrical face is not going to speak to a woman's biology, right? She's not going to look at you and think, right, this guy can protect me. This guy can protect our children. This guy is going to be a strong, stable father. So, yeah, do everything within your power to look your best. I do think it feeds into this mystical concept that we call vibe. It always annoys me when people say these words, but they never really define what these words actually mean. It was Socrates who said, "The beginning of wisdom is a definition of terms." The way that I define this mystical thing that we call vibe is how compelling you feel in the moment. It's kind of like this invisible force that draws people in, a bit like gravity, right? You can't see it, but it's there. And the thing that has always allowed me to feel compelling in the moment is the way that I'm perceiving myself. So, again, 5 years ago, I looked like a turnip, I dressed like a moron. I didn't have a lot going for me. However, I just controlled the controllables. And that's what I would suggest that you do as well. You don't need to look like you've just come off the front cover of Men's Health. You don't need to look like you've got biceps the size of fucking coconuts. But for me, it's more of this internal challenge, like getting to a point where you have validated yourself and no matter what happens, you'll be okay. So I really do think that the external feeds into the internal, and everybody likes looking at attractive things. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's not the main thing. Really, the thing that I try and get into people's minds is it's not what you say, it's not how you say it, it's who you are when you say it. And I think having this level of grandiosity, we call it justified arrogance, because the guys that I work with, they're guys who are doing well in life, right? They're not fucking losers. They're successful guys. They're respected in their industry. They've got great jobs. They have taken care of all the things that society told them to take care of. Focus on your career, build it, and they will come. But after a while, they realize, well, where's all the fucking women at? Do you know what I mean? I've invested all this time into my career, into my morning routine, into my carefully curated crypto portfolio, but I still don't feel as though my dating life has caught up. And then they might see other guys who are no richer, smarter, no more better looking than them take the women who could have been theirs just because they had the balls to walk over and say hello. Yeah, a lot of this game, it does come down to just having the balls to initiate. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think when guys work with me, I just push them into more action than they've ever done in their lives. Like there's no magic bullet. There's no quick fix solution. It's really, hey, you're struggling with this thing right now. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna allow you to outwork yourself down. We're just gonna push you into more approaches than you've ever done in your life. You're gonna have so much social momentum and so much confidence. What is confidence? Well, the way that I define it is optimism in the absence of certainty. So now, whenever I put myself into scary situations, I might not have certainty, but I've got optimism in the absence of certainty. I believe the word confidence is Latin, confident, which means with faith. Now, because I've done so many difficult, scary things in my life, skydiving, being a magician, solo traveling to over 30 countries, doing YouTube and cold approach simultaneously, other things that escape my mind right now. Oh, Muay Thai, training Muay Thai in Bangkok, going into the belly of the beast. Because I put myself into so many of these corridors of uncertainty, to borrow a Alan Shearer quote, I've just developed faith in myself now. I've developed this ability to have optimism in the absence of certainty. So now I believe no matter what, I can handle it. Throw me in hell, I'll find a way to enjoy it. And really, this is what turns women on. I think it's that emotional dominance, it's that certainty, that conviction, that carefree attitude where you're like, you know what, I've seen things, nothing phases me anymore. I think it's referred to as amuse mastery. You know, like a character such as James Bond. He's seen it all, he's done it all, nothing phases him anymore. I think that's compelling, both to men and women, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully that first point's useful. If you find these live streams valuable, by the way, feel free to drop them a like. I'm kind of just riffing here. Like I say, I'm way more coherent in the article that I've published. First link below this video. I go over everything in depth there. I just enjoy riffing, to be fair. I take a point, I riff on it, say some shit, forget about a few things, and then we're on to the next one. So yeah, if you're enjoying the raw authenticity, drop it a like. The second way to get more dates with hotter women. I'm going into Santa Claus mode again. The second way to get more dates with hotter women from cold approach specifically is just to approach more. Okay, so as you're already aware after consuming lots and lots of my content, it takes around 100 daytime approaches to start to develop proficiency. That's if you're doing it on your own. If you work with me, I say to my guys, one approach with me is worth around 30 approaches on your own because I'm giving you feedback. I'm telling you what you need to know as opposed to what you want to hear. The amount of times when I've been working with guys and they've referenced things that I've said on live streams, they've said things like, yeah, I used to always hear you say one approach with you is worth 30 on my own. And now I actually understand it. Like now I actually get it. A lot of the things that I say on these streams, they don't make sense until you're balls deep in the process. So I say things like belief follows action, or the way you start isn't the way you finish, or you're only ever one approach away from your entire life changing. All these things sound like nice poetic expostulations, but the moment you experience it, that's when you truly understand it. So when my guys work with me in the field, I'm giving them the feedback. That's what allows them to just turn decades into days because I'm just installing over 15 years now of social expertise into them. So that's why my clients get the results that they do. That's why allowing my guys to undergo this transformation is easy for me now. I'm not saying it's easy for my clients. Again, I'm not saying this is a magic bullet. You're going to have to work. You know, it works as long as you do. But this is the reason why we turn decades into days because I'm just listening to their conversations. I'm giving them feedback, and then they iterate. But approaching more, right? If you want to go on more dates with hotter women, then once you've done your first 100 direct approaches, I would say at a minimum be approaching 20 new women every single week. Because just imagine how your life would look if you were consistently approaching 20 beautiful women every single week for the next 8, 12, 16 weeks. Like, it would be unreasonable for you not to succeed because the more you open, the more you close. So, this is the biggest problem that I see. Like, guys will come to me all the time. DM me on Instagram, they might send me an email, or they'll comment underneath one of my videos, and they'll say something like, "Oh, Christian, cold approach doesn't work." In other words, cold approach hasn't yielded the results that I wanted, so now I'm sad. So really, the thing that I look for first of all is how many women are you approaching? Like, how many conversations are you starting each week, right? Because for a lot of guys, they're just not putting in the right amount of volume. Do you know what I mean? It's like saying you wanting to get into incredible shape, but you're training 1 day a week and doing one half-hour set, or saying that you want to become an elite Muay Thai competitor and spending half your week just watching Muay Thai videos, never actually stepping into the Muay Thai gym. So volume is essential with this. So really the biggest thing that I change with my clients is the amount of women that they are approaching every single week. Like one of my newest clients, Rentaro, shout out Mr. Rentaro from Japan. Dude, Rentaro is an absolute fucking legend. A couple of months back, the guy was at rock bottom. He just broke up with his fiance. His wedding crumbled in front of him. He spent a month contemplating the meaning of life. And then he applied to work with me. We had a conversation, a really great conversation. And the only thing that we changed when it came to Rentaro was the volume of women who he was approaching. And I think it was within 2 weeks, he'd already been on 3 dates with three different women, women that he would have once labeled as out of his league. And we didn't give him any weird confidence hack. We didn't tell him to write 23 affirmations or speak to himself like he matters in the mirror. We just got him to approach more women. That was it. It's not fucking difficult. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like if you can just increase the volume of the amount of women you're approaching on a weekly basis, then you'll do well. And I would say as well, another important point is once you have done those first 100 approaches, I think it's important that you focus on being more selective about the women that you are approaching, because you don't want to just be approaching women after those first 100 just because they're safe or you think that you can get them. Really, if you want to start dating hotter women, then you need to be approaching women who might intimidate you, who you might think, oh, she's out of my league. And usually, the only reason why you've convinced yourself that a woman is out of your league is simply because you've never been with a woman like that before. But the moment it happens, everything changes. Okay, one of the things that I believe deeply about is change happens fast. Okay, like the moment, like let me think of a concrete example. Imagine historically you've only ever been able to deadlift 150 kg, okay, and you've got that as your normal. That's your standard, right? The moment you deadlift 175, that becomes your new normal, and really the game is about minimizing the time it takes to get from A to B. So you could spend 2 years contemplating, maybe I could add more weight to the bar, but never doing it. But the moment you do it, the moment you minimize the time between thought and action, that's when change happens. In the same way that if you're in a car accident, your life is never the same again. The moment you approach a woman who you believe is out of your league, and maybe she smiles, maybe you have a 5 minute conversation, maybe you get her phone number, maybe you go on a date and then you have a happy ending. All these stepping stones allow you to believe more in your own capabilities. But at the start, it's not about belief, okay? Because if you spend your entire life waiting to feel ready or waiting to believe in yourself, it's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I say fuck beliefs. Focus on behavior. Behavior is what will allow you to accumulate belief, because belief follows action. I think there's too much talk online about mindset. Oh, you need to get your head right. And yeah, that is important. But I tell you what is more valuable is to just walk outside, do 100 cold approaches, and allow belief to follow action. Because let's say you see a woman and you consider her out of your league. It's not about chasing a goal, it's more so about chasing an identity. So there is a version of yourself in some, we'll say, alternative universe who's living the life that you want. It's the exact same version of you, right? Just go with me with this. And the only thing that separates you from your highest self is the behavior that that other person took, right? So rather than thinking, oh, I need to do this, I need to get my head right, I need to meditate, I need to gratitude journal, I need more theory. No, you simply need to mimic the behavior of a guy who's already winning. Understand, we are what we pretend to be. It doesn't mean fake it until you make it. It's behave in accordance with your greatest ambitions. Because if somebody put a gun to your head and said, hey, pretend to be confident for 5 minutes, you would by default be a confident person. I do think a lot of the time, these things that we want, especially emotional states, I do believe they're choices. I think confidence can be a choice. If you look at the movie, the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can, the guy assumes so many different identities. I think at one point he's a surgeon, then he's a pilot, not because he's got competence, but because he makes a choice, that's what he is. So understand change can happen fast. The moment you approach a certified stunner and she gives you some form of validation, it changes the way that you perceive yourself. But you don't think your way into confidence in the same way that you don't think your way into having a six pack. The confidence is already there. And this is why I try and make you aware. The same thing that I make my clients aware. The thing you want, whether it's confidence, whether it's notoriety, whether it's a feeling of importance, because I do think everything we do is for the feeling that it gives us. That's a different tangent. All of these things are already there, okay? In the same way that you've already got a six pack, it's just buried beneath layers of fat. So I'm not teaching you how to get abs. Your abs are already there. I'm just helping you remove the layers of, of metaphorical fat. I sound like Jim Carrey in The Mask. I'm just helping you remove the layers of metaphorical fat. In order for you to actually connect with the version of yourself that's already there. Again, you are fuckable. There's just too much shit in the way right now, to put it candidly. So, approaching more women. Approaching more women is going to be the antidote to most of your anxieties. And if you feel stressed or anxious or depressed right now, it's probably just because you know you're not doing what you need to be doing. And this is really, I think this is one of my greatest superpowers that I give to my clients. Because again, my clients are successful guys, right? They're respected in their industries. They've got status, they've got credibility. But usually for a long time, they've just not been given no bullshit feedback, right? They've never been they've never had someone who's just been like, listen, dude, the reason why you're failing right now is because you're just not doing enough. Right? You're just not doing enough. How many women have you approached this week? Oh, one. Well, what the fuck do you expect? Right? What the fuck do you expect? So really, I'm just teaching my guys how to teach themselves. Okay, 20 approaches a week minimum. Aim to record the audio of some of your conversations because then you've got a point of reference. This is another thing that I get my clients to do as well. And I would say it's one of the reasons why my clients get rip roaring results because we're just on it every single day. We're just on it, right? It's like just this relentless pursuit towards excellence. And the way that you show up in cold approach, it will affect the way you change up throughout the rest of your life. It's just crazy the transformations that I see in my guys, just becoming more confident leaders, becoming more decisive men. I would say as well, becoming better fathers, but that's a different tangent. But if you can just record the audio of your conversations, you've got a point of reference. You realize, oh, I'm talking too fast. I sound like a closet heterosexual. I'm giving off gay best friend vibes. I've been guilty. I've made every single call approach mistake under the sun, and I continue to make them to this day. Right? The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to show up and just do the best of what you've got in the moment. Right? So yeah, just approach more women. Like if you can aim to approach 20 new women every single week, prioritizing the women that you actually want to date. Because there's nothing worse than getting phone numbers for a woman who you're like, yeah, I don't really want her. I just kind of wanted the validation. I kind of just wanted the number to prove to myself that I could do the thing. So, yeah, I would say ruthless prioritization. Approach the women who you actually want to go on dates with. And if those women are intimidating you, great. That's the exact reason why you want to be doing it. And a mindset that can help is if you don't do it, somebody else probably will, right? If you don't approach her, somebody else probably will, whether it's in person or on the fucking metaverse. And one of the craziest things that I've learned is the hottest women are the most receptive to being approached because nobody approaches them. Most guys see a beautiful woman strut past them on the street and they instantly reject themselves because they think, oh, she's going to be bitchy. She's not going to like my approach. I'm nowhere near her level, la 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 la. But you want to reframe it. It's like, nah, I'm going to approach it because nobody else has got the balls to do it, and call it out in your conversations as well. The amount of times I've approached girls who every other guy was staring at on the street, and I was the one to walk over and say something. Dude, a lot of people have this belief that approaching women in public during the day is creepy, right? But I tell you what is creepy. What is creepy is staring at a woman, looking her up and down, and not doing anything about it, right? Cold approach is the least creepy thing you can do, because whilst everybody else is looking at her and not doing anything and pretending they've not seen her, I'm the one who walks over and actually delivers my truth, who actually says what it is that I want to say. Like, hey, you look fucking incredible. And by the way, every other guy was checking you out, but nobody else had the balls to walk over, right? So it's not creepy. It's creepy if you're looking at a woman not doing anything with it, giving her some side eye glances when she's not looking, just to, cop a look. That's fucking creepy. What is creepy is hanging around grotty nightclubs until 3 a.m., prying on drunk girls. Like, daytime call approach is a gentleman's way of meeting women. Yeah, if you do it properly, like if you do it right. But yeah, just this nonsense. Again, it's a lot of it's just fucking excuses, isn't it? Okay, number 3. By the way, again, if you're enjoying the stream, drop it a like. I'm probably gonna go for another hour on this thing. Anyway, number 3, if you wanna date more hot women from call approach, is go out with an intention. So a lot of guys, in my experience, they're living like accidents and they're sleepwalking their way through life. The best results come when you've got a clear intention about what it is that you want. So rather than going out to get numbers, rather than going out to meet women or to approach or to be social, set the intention to get a date with a woman who you consider out of your league. Because again, when you get that date with a woman that you considered out of your league, she becomes the new normal. Yeah, she becomes the new standard, and you don't see it as out of your league anymore. It's like, motherfucker, I'm Champions League, I'm Club World Cup winner. Nobody's out of my league. Like, this is the energy that you want to be moving with. The belief, the knowingness that, yeah, I can fucking do it. Why not? Like, why not me? It's always a great thought. Like, why not you? Do you know what I mean? Like, if she's going to be banging somebody, why is it not you? If she's going to be fantasizing about somebody, why not you? Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got one shot at this thing that we call life. Why the fuck do we want to spend it with our music still inside of us? Do you know what I mean? Like, when we get to the end of our days, I want to look back and think, do you know what? I might have made mistakes. I might not have been everyone's cup of tea. I might have said things which were fucking ludicrous at times. And maybe I don't agree with everything right now when I'm 88 years old. But fuck me, I went after it. I lived a life. I was unapologetic. That's the kind of existence that I want to live. I always find having that future projection mindset has always served me well. Yeah, just imagining my life 20 years from now, looking back at the times that I had, the people I spent it with, the risks that I took. And yeah, I just think the version of me 20 years from now is gonna look back and think, do you know what, Christian, fair fucking play to you. You were a tenacious, audacious motherfucker, and I respect you for it. And yeah, that was a tangent. Fuck knows what I was talking about there. I think I was just engrossed in my own narcissism. Sounds about right. But yeah, having an intention is so important. So let's say today you are going to go out and you're going to do some good old cold approach, then just get clear on why you're actually there. Because if you set the intention that, okay, I'm going out today to get a date, that intention will change the energy you show up in the conversations with. Because a lot of times guys develop what I call closing anxiety, where they've got used to opening, which is starting conversations, but they haven't practiced closing as much as they've practiced opening. So when it comes to taking the phone number or pushing for the instant date, they can freeze up in the same way that they used to freeze up when it came to the approach. So it's important to keep it in your mind. Why are you going out here? Because if your intention is to get a date on the same day, or maybe a date for the weekend, that needs to be the energy that you're moving with. And then when it comes to taking contact details, you're not going to freeze like a deer in headlights, because it feels as though you're already mentally prepared for that moment. So a really important thing to keep in mind is when you are out there, especially if you're new to this game, just practice pulling the trigger. Just practice taking contact details. Even if you don't feel as though she's going to say yes, even if you think it's too early, even if you think the close is going to be sloppy, because a lot of guys, they have this fear that going for the number, it's almost like another opportunity to be rejected. It's like a video game. It's like, right, I've got to the first checkpoint. Now I'm at the second checkpoint. Oh, I kind of like it at this checkpoint. I don't want to go for the next checkpoint. But it's important that you do, because if your intention is to get a date, then it's either going to be an instant date or you need some form of way to contact these women. The worst thing you can do is have a great conversation and then just walk off into the distance, having not taken any form of contact details. So all you need to say is, well, listen, the reason why I've come over here is because I think you're great. So another time, I want to take you out on a date. And be unapologetic, be specific, like really make it clear why you're there. You know, it's not to be her friend, it's not to become her next dance partner. It's because you want to take her out on a date. Yeah, and this is being able to just speak your truth is how you are removing the conditioning of what I call closet heterosexuality. Because a big reason why you're probably struggling with dating right now is not because you've got dating problems. It's usually because you've got personal problems, which become dating problems. So you're probably carrying a lot of shame at the moment regarding your sexuality. Maybe your mum walked in on you when you were 13 years old, jacking yourself off to MILF porns, and it made you think that your sexuality was wrong in some way. Maybe you've come from a very religious background where, oh, it's no sex before marriage, or, oh, if you're thinking about anything which is quote unquote dirty, then that's wrong. And a lot of guys are carrying this shame and they don't even realize it. And it's not until they do something like daytime cold approach that's when the mirror is held up to people. You know, I think that daytime cold approach, aside from being an incredible way to improve yourself as a man, meet incredibly beautiful women, I also do see it as as a form of therapy. I really do see cold approach as therapy, because when you're in front of a woman, stone cold sober during the day, everything comes to the forefront. Like there's no hiding anymore. It's like there you are, metaphorically, stark bollock naked. The streets will teach you everything you need to learn about yourself. And they will humble you. You will get your ego annihilated. It is a beautiful process of ego death. You'll realize you're not as attractive. You realize you're not as socially competent. You realize you're not as bulletproof as you initially thought. But the person that you become through this process is the person who you've always been. It's just having the permission to finally become that version of yourself. Again, that was a tangent, but where were we with that one? Oh yeah, just setting an intention. Very important. Set an intention. If you want to go on a date this week, that's the intention. Go on a date with beautiful Helga from the bus stop. Number 4, I've already said that. Make it clear you want to take her out on a date. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about being a closet heterosexual and having shame. So a lot of the times when I'm listening to my guys' conversations, I will be able to identify their sexual shame through the language that they're using. So a lot of times it's evidenced in tepid, lukewarm language. So rather than going over to a strikingly beautiful woman and just say, hey, excuse me, you look fucking incredible, it's usually, oh, excuse me, oh, don't mean to disturb you, but just wanted to say you look good. Ta-da! Look, it's completely normal at the start. Again, the first 100 approaches that you do, they are going to be shit. They're just batting practice. Get over it. But just be aware of the language that you're using. Yeah, when it comes to taking the woman's contact detail, just be very clear. Listen, I think you're great. I want to take you out on a date. That sounds like some Shakespearean sonnet. Just make it clear. Really, kind of if I was to boil down what I allow guys to do is really just speak the truth. I think it was it was Zan who said that honesty is the greatest aphrodisiac. Beautiful quotation. Honesty is the greatest aphrodisiac. I think we've become very good at concealing our intentions. You know, I think we've become this generation of distraction. artists, where it's easy to conceal intention, to hide behind the airbrushed images and the filtered facade. But again, my whole dating philosophy is not on addition, it's about removal. Yeah, it's attraction through subtraction. It's understanding that repulsion is magnetic, and this is a process of freedom from bullshit. Again, I've wrote about this stuff extensively in the blog underneath this video, so if you're curious about my personal system, I call it anti-game artistry, which is basically it's a two middle finger salute to the entire world that's trying to put you into a box. Anti-game artistry is not just a dating strategy, it's a way of being. Yeah, it's teaching you how to become a socially sovereign savage. Yeah, it's teaching you how to reject the status quo, to reject conformity. Oh, you should not do that thing. Ask for permission when you're allowed to go for a shit. Be a good boy. And it's like, nah, I'm sick of playing it safe. I know I'm capable of more. Maybe you've just not had the support or the accountability or the belief in yourself that you've needed. I think that's just a huge thing for guys. I think that positive reinforcement is, I think it's just vastly underestimated. Like when I'm learning a new skill, think of something like Muay Thai. I love it when my coaches give me praise. If my coach is constantly telling me, you're shit, your kicks are shit, you can't throw a punch to save your life, that just deflates me to the point that I don't want to do it anymore. I don't need to be given like constant like my ego being inflated. But I do think guys, like compliments go a long way, especially if you're anything like me. You know, I started off in the absolute mud. I didn't have any belief in myself. I hated myself. And I really, really despised the person that I was. And when I look back, I'm just like, maybe you just didn't get enough praise when you were younger. So even though I am harsh with my guys, only because I care, by the way, I'm not some out of control egomaniac who's just trying to gratify his existence. I get passionate with my guys because I really care. Like I do. At the start, I wanted to make a business out of cold approach because I just wanted to be able to make money to get out my dismal lifestyle. That's just the God's honest truth. I didn't start because I had this burning desire to help other people. I just wanted to help my fucking self. And I wish more people were honest about that. Like, oh, well, the reason I started was because I just wanted to give back to the world. It's like, motherfucker, no, you didn't. You wanted to line your own pockets. And there's nothing wrong with that because I think the position that I'm in now, where I have got a I've got a proven track record of knowing that I can help people. But the reason why I help people is because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm of service. It makes me feel important. But by helping myself, I help other people, and a rising tide lifts all the boats. But now, when I look at the guys who I work with, I do see former versions or former iterations of myself in them. I'm like, dude, listen, it's not going to be easy. There are going to be moments where you probably want to fucking cry. But what's the alternative here? Because it's not just about women. It's not just about women. It's becoming a version of yourself that you've always wanted to be, but maybe you've not had the belief, the permission, or whatever the fuck you've not had to actually become that. So yeah, when I'm working my guys, like I'm walking that path with them. But yeah, I'm not here to babysit people. I'm not here to be people's friend either. I'm here to be people's fucking coach. You know, if you're associated with me, you'll become successful, but the success is dependent on your desire to do things. Right. So I think that's important. But anyway, set an intention, that's important. Make it clear you want to take her out on a date. Just being honest with your intentions. I think the world would be a lot easier if people were just more honest with what they wanted. Oh, there's an attractive woman. I want to walk over, say something. I think having lower IQ is important. You know what I mean? Almost being like a caveman or the cultured caveman, like me man, she woman. I like that. But yeah, a lot of the guys that I work with, they are analytical, logical guys, and it can be hard for them sometimes to get into that frame of mind where they can almost leave their mind at the door. But again, this is just things that we take care of. But yeah, what else we got? Number 5 is having a polarizing open. So one of the probably the most important thing when it comes to a cold approach, especially if you're approaching in a busy city like London or New York, is to have full conviction in what you're doing. The greatest thought experiment to because kind of again these words are quite difficult to understand. Like conviction, what the fuck does that actually mean? Like how do we define that? I'll define it using an analogy, and this was given to me by my mentor. Shout out to Daniel. When I was struggling with cold approach in the early days, and I started getting coached, my mentor Daniel said to me, Christian, imagine you've just seen somebody drop a set of keys on the floor, okay? And imagine you want to return those keys to that person. But imagine they're about to hop on a bus or a tube or a private jet. Someone's doing well. Imagine the feeling you would have to return those keys. And that was conviction. Oh, that person has lost something and I need to return it to them because now I feel as though I'm the giver of value. Oftentimes, the reason why you feel apprehensive to do a cold approach is because a part of you is worried that you're trying to take something from the woman. But the way that you want to perceive yourself is you are the giver of value. You are going out into the world to give, yeah, to create these magical experiences. I do think a lot of people in this world are fucking lonely. And I think we're craving connection, especially in the digital revolution and the AIification of society. I do think people are more disconnected than ever. I think it's very easy to feel lonely in a city like London, New York, Bangkok, where everybody might look like they're having a grand old time on social media, but when the cameras get turned off, I do think there is a loneliness epidemic at the moment. But I think that the areas that AI will not replace are relationships and community. I think as human beings, we crave it. Do you know what I mean? We crave that connection. Whether you think you're an introvert, an extrovert, or everything else in the fucking in between, like I think we crave that connection. And I think that one of the things that I think holds guys back is almost this fear that they're doing something wrong, that they're taking. But no, you want to imagine that you've got the metaphorical car keys in the palm of your hand and you're returning things to people that they've lost. Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful way of seeing cold approach. That can it change the world? I don't know, but I think it can change somebody's world. And I think the more approaches you do, the more love you actually spread into the ether. I think that shit comes back to you. I really do. So yeah, if you view yourself as a creator of magical experiences, understand as well from a tactical perspective, going halfway with half a heart only digs a deeper grave. So if you are going to approach a woman, you have to fucking mean it. It's like why should that woman procreate with you if only 20% of you is showing up in that approach? So if you see a beautiful woman, again, the hottest women are the easiest to approach. The women who are just dressed up to the nines, they're strutting down with that red carpet walk. They can take your hard hitting compliments. So forget about saying, "Oh, excuse me, you look nice." For fuck's sake, don't ask her where's the nearest Starbucks. She knows what you want, dude. Lead with your dick, for fuck's sake. Rather than having these tepid, lukewarm compliments, just go balls deep. Just say, "Listen, you look fucking incredible. You look stunning. You look so good." And just let it sit. Like, look at her like you desire her. Like, one of the most beautiful moments in life is just walking over to a woman, giving her a strong compliment, leading with your balls, and just being wrapped for 2 to 8 minutes in this beautiful private bubble of communication where the rest of the world disappears. You might not get a number. You might never see her again. Maybe she becomes the mother of your children. But that moment just here, it's fucking incredible. And I've seen so many lives change, not just from the date, from meeting their fucking fiance or meeting their life partner. Like all those things are beautiful byproducts of the decision they make to fully step in to themselves. Yeah. So when you're walking over and you just have these strong, polarizing, hard hitting compliments, like you look incredible, you can feel it. Like it almost feels like a relief. That's what I've felt with the guys who I work with, the entrepreneurs, the business owners, busy professionals who are working in corporate London or Dubai or New York. It feels like this relief. It's like, oh, finally. It's this like cathartic expostulation of what they've always wanted to do. And I think it's a beautiful process of liberation through action. Because again, you're not going to think your way into this, right? Listening to me talk on these live streams, I'm really grateful. Like I really am. Like it gets my watch time up and pushes this content to more people. But at the end of the day, free videos are not going to change your fucking life. It's like trying to become a black belt in jiu-jitsu by watching YouTube tutorials and then rolling around with a pillow on your kitchen floor, or me trying to teach myself Muay Thai by watching Lech Mal on YouTube. I don't actually know who that is. I think he plays for Barcelona. At some point, your actions need to align with your ambitions. At some point, you realize that 3 videos is like sniffing a condom wrapper and expecting to lose your virginity. It's like, motherfucker, especially if you're, let's say, more of a mature man. Let's say you're over the age of 40. Then, to be completely blunt with you, you don't really have the time to piss away anymore. Watching videos, trying to implement everything on my own. It's like, dude, there's thousands of hours of videos online. It'll take you thousands of hours to implement with no guarantee that you're even going to get the results that you want. So even if it's not me, for fuck's sake, just get somebody to help you, to guide you, to give you no bullshit feedback. Because I'm not saying you can't learn the skill of cold approach on your own. Again, it's just fucking talking to people. It's really the time it takes for you to get to your desired destination. And something interesting, a lot of guys who work with me now, cold approach isn't even the main thing that they're looking for. A lot of guys, they just want to get connected with other like-minded individuals. So as well as getting coached by me, my guys also get access to my private community, the Entourage, which is filled with socially sovereign savages. So guys from their early 20s all the way up to their mid 50s, guys who live and breathe this skill. I think there's something about bonding over shared struggle. I guess it might be similar to if you're in the military or maybe guys who do martial arts. I think there's something beautiful about men bonding over a shared struggle. When you look a guy dead in the eyes and he's put 100 reps in on Oxford Street and probably been rejected more than most of your friends combined, there's this shared level of respect. It's like you don't even need to say a word. It's like, you call approach? Yeah, I call approach. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, that's my guy. It's this kind of, it feels a bit like Fight Club in a way. But yeah, just being around like-minded guys, not feeling ashamed. I think one of the best points in my career was this year we had our very first in-person Entourage meetup. So all the guys that I've coached, we all got together in the same city and just like all sat round a table. And as soon as somebody gets up and leaves, we all know what's going on. Yeah, we all know that he's gone over to approach an absolute worldie. And regardless of the outcome, when he's coming back, it's like, we're all giving him the round of applause. We get it. It's like, dude, how was it? Because like, if you're with your non-cold approach friends and they see you approach a girl, and let's say you get brutally blown out, then they're probably going to be like, oh, bro, like, what did you do? Like, why did you walk over to her? Like, oh, what happened? Oh, shit, you got rejected. Oh, fuck, like, we might have to change our postcode now. What if people know? But with my guys, it's like, bro, what happened over there? Ah, shit, man, like, I just didn't get my stop on point. That's all right. Well, there's another one over there. Go talk to her. So, yeah, we've just created something which is so special. And yeah, in Barcelona this year, when all of our guys got together and we all sat around the same table, we're doing fucking day game, night game, fucking sunset game. It was just beautiful to see how everybody was helping each other. Everybody could relate to one another. Guys from their 50s to their early 20s, having shared experiences and being able to help one another, going on double dates together. It was like fucking electric. And it really made me realize the importance of community, of brotherhood, of connection. It's like one of our Entourage guys, Joseph, once said, cold approach is not a solo sport. It's a team sport, and also it's an extreme sport. So I think it's so crucial, especially once you've started to get some level of proficiency, is to just start meeting other guys, just to start shooting the shit, sharing your infield recordings with each other, sharing your audios. Again, we do all of this in the Entourage, but yeah, I think that's important. But the main thread here was opening with conviction. So having a strong, polarizing open. Because when you polarize from the start, I think what's really important is the way you begin that interaction. It will set the tone for how this relationship continues. And this is a really important point. You could have been a complete loser for the majority of your life, right? You could have been a complete loser who's never had the things or the women that he wants. But the beautiful thing about Daytime Cold Approach is you can recreate yourself in a single approach. So whoever you've been in the past, whatever excuses that you've made, whatever bullshit you've said to yourself, all that woman knows is what's in front of her right now. And again, the moment you get a woman who you once considered out of your league, you recreate yourself in a single approach. And the dates that you get from something like cold approach, it supersedes all other forms of dates that I've had with girls. So girls who I met on a dating app, or girls that I met in a nightclub, or girls who I opportunistically met at fucking house parties at university. Going on a date with a woman who you've cold approached, you've literally created something out of nothing. And when you're on that date, it's like, yeah, I made this happen. I made this happen through my balls. So I think that's a really important point to keep in mind is you can recreate yourself through a single approach. And I think that's why it's so important to have a clear intention about what you want and who you want to be. Because your thoughts are powerful, and whatever vision you've got for your life in your mind, once you start making your actions align with your ambitions, you can start to create magic. So yeah, anyway, have a polarizing open. Stop the lukewarm bullshit. The next way to get more dates with hotter women from cold approach is to delete your dating apps. Okay, so I think taking a burn the boats approach to dating is important. So I think the moment that you make the decision to go balls deep with daytime cold approach, I do think for, let's say, 90 days, you should forget about all other ways of meeting people. I think what you want to do is you want to have a 90-day obsession period where for 90 days, this is more so if you're doing it on your own. Again, if you work with me, we just turn all of this stuff into a very straightforward, simplistic process. Again, it's not saying that it's going to be easy. You still need to put the reps in, but it's a whole lot fucking easier than doing it on your own. But if you are doing it on your own, it's important, I think, to have this 90-day obsession period where for 90 days, cold approach does become your reason for being. Like, you watch the videos, you read the blogs, link underneath, first link underneath the video. You listen to the podcast, you consume and you act, and it does become your obsession for 90 days. And you've got this obsession with progression when it comes to cold approach. And during this period of time, I would suggest just get off the dating apps, because the dating apps, they're keeping you sedated. You're checking your phone, you're checking for notifications, you're seeing if this low quality woman has messaged you back yet. Oh, she's blocked you. Oh, now I feel sad. It's just this constant, this constant like dopamine devil who's sucking your life energy. I think it's better to have a burn the boat strategy, that if you are going to go balls deep a cold approach, get rid of the dating apps for 90 days. That gives you more motivation to get out there, because if you've destroyed all other forms of, let's say, forms of streams of income, then the only option you've got is to focus on what's in front of you. Right, cold approach. That's going to be my vehicle for the next 90 days. And look, I don't have a huge problem with dating apps for the guys who become proficient at cold approach. So if you've become proficient at cold approach and you can consistently get dates with the sort of women who turn heads as soon as you walk into a venue together, like if you've got to a place in your life where you know you can consistently, reliably get dates with the women you actually want from cold approach, and you want to use dating apps for, let's call it, passive income. Maybe you're traveling to a new city next week, and ahead of time you want to fill up the pipeline. It's like, out of every person on this planet, you are the most justified to do that. Like, if you've been putting your balls on the line, you've been approaching for a couple of years, you've had incredible experiences, you've become the version of yourself who cold approach can work for, and you want to use dating apps to supply your pipeline with options, then what that can mean is you can walk out the house, or you can land in a new city already feeling abundant, because you've already stacked options. The pipeline is already full. So you'll feel more abundant in your cold approach conversations. You very much will have that I want you, but I don't need you energy. Remember, abundance isn't always having, it's knowing you can have. So once you've got a skill like daytime cold approach, you're never needy in your life again, because you know any given day, any given moment, you can walk out your house, approach any woman, anywhere, anytime, and have dates lined up for that week. I've seen this happen time and time and time again with my clients. I've got clients who've now got more dates from cold approach than they can even count. Again, click the first link underneath this video. You can look at my testimonial, so you know I'm not talking out my ass. It really depends on what you want from this dude. Like, if you want a wife, if you want a girlfriend, if you want to have fun, if you want to play the field, if you want to become more socially confident, I think it's important that you define what your why actually is. Because, like Nietzsche said, he who has a strong enough why can bear any how. But in terms of the dating apps, if you're a beginner to cold approach and you're not getting anything right now in regards to romantic interest, I would get rid of the dating apps. I would prove that you can make cold approach work for you. And then once cold approach is supplying, then you can lean on the dating apps to create abundance. If you're traveling to a new place, use it as passive income. Fucking fair play to you. The next thing, if you want to start getting more dates with hotter women from cold approach, is to text her within 2 hours of getting her phone number. So a mistake that I see a lot with guys who are trying to learn cold approach is they follow this weird, outdated rule. I'm not quite sure who created it. Maybe it was David D'Angelo. Who knows? And it was this thing where you have to wait 3 days to message a woman. And it's kind of fucking weird. Maybe it worked back then because, you know, the coach was trying to get his clients to be more mysterious and aloof. But I think in the era that we live in right now, people's attention spans are worse than fucking goldfish. So I think it's important that you stay top of funnel, front of mind. So once you've had a cold approach conversation with a girl, the way that I see it is almost like if you imagine like a battery, and the longer you wait, the more that battery is decreasing. And if you leave it too long, the magic of the moment starts to fade. And let's say you meet a girl at 5 p.m. on Oxford Street in London and you don't message her until 5 p.m. the next day. I'm not saying you're not going to get a response, but it's best to strike whilst the iron is hot. Okay. And I found the guys who capitalize quickly on the emotion of the moment, these are the guys who get more dates from cold approach than you can even count because they have a great conversation, boom, send a message. And here's a really beautiful secret hack that you can start using. Forget about sending written messages. Start voice messaging girls. This is what I suggest to my clients. And usually it causes apprehension because a lot of times guys are like, oh, I don't like the way that I sound. I don't like my voice. I don't like hearing myself back. And my thing's always the same. It's like, motherfucker, who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean? It's like, sort out your first world problems. Like, are we here to do what feels nice or are we here to get results, right? Because if you send a voice message, you are positioning yourself on like the top of the totem pole in the way that she's perceiving you because not only did you have the balls to approach her stone cold sober whilst everybody else were just staring at her doing nothing, but now you've got the audacity to send her a voice message. And in my 10-hour free cold approach course, I'll link that course at the end, by the way. There's modules in like texting, like how to text girls. But my secret superpower since I got started with cold approach has been sending voice messages. It's a great way to differentiate yourself even more. And also, she will start to associate your voice with the emotions that she felt in that initial cold approach conversation. So it's really about capitalizing on the emotion as fast as possible. So don't fall into this trap of, oh, I'm going to be suave, I'm going to be cool, I'm going to be aloof. No, text her within 2 hours of getting her number. Don't allow the magic of the moment to fade. Because if you do leave it too long, then the memory of you does start to fade. So it's important that you do capitalize on the magic of the moment. And the other thing that I've put here, which is going to piss a lot of people off, is to have some form of social media status. So in the modern game, in my opinion, it's inexcusable not to have an Instagram page. Now, the backlash that I always get from people is, oh, but I'm not materialistic. I'm not an Instagram person. Again, it's not what feels good. It's what is going to get you results, okay? Because in 2025, a big reason why women are going to flake on you isn't because you're ugly, isn't because you're not attractive or charming or witty or interesting. Usually it's just down to a lack of social proof, okay? I'm not saying you can't get great results by just taking WhatsApp, but Instagram is one of the most powerful tools. One of the reasons is you can use your Instagram page as almost like a landing page or like a website because you could have pretty mediocre cold approach conversations. But if the first 9 photos on your Instagram is pulling the lever on female attraction triggers. So things like risk taker, leader of men, pre-selection is the main one. If your Instagram profile conveys pre-selection, which effectively means women want what other women want, the easiest way to get hotter women is to show hot women that you've been validated by other hot women. So if you've got photos and videos of you with attractive women and you've got those on your Instagram page, then the women that you're meeting on the streets or wherever you're meeting these beautiful senoritas, they go over to your Instagram and they can see that, oh, this guy has got a life. He's interesting. Oh, he travels. Oh, there's him with a girl. Oh, there's him with another girl. Oh, there's some more girls with him. Oh, there's him with his friends. Oh, there's a picture of him with his dog. Oh, there's a picture of him with his parents, some comfort building photos. Instagram it takes time to learn the platform, but I would say very simple. Have 9 photos which speak to female attraction triggers. Have at least 1,000 followers. I know it sounds fucking shallow and vanity metrics. It's the game, dude. Like, status sells, right? It just does. So if you're not willing to put the time in to create a compelling Instagram, then you are going to leave a lot of money on the table. But it's your life. Do what you want. This is just advice. I might know nothing. But I do think I'm yet to find anybody who can give me a compelling argument as why you don't need one. Because once you have a compelling Instagram, it just makes the game of approaching so much easier. Like, if you've got elite level cold approach skills and you've got a good Instagram, it doesn't need to be anything fucking outrageous. But if you've got elite cold approach skills and you've got a good Instagram, let's say 1,000 followers, 9 solid photos, speaking to female attraction triggers, dude, that is a lethal combination. It's fucking lethal, especially as well if you've also got an international lifestyle. A lot of the guys that I work with, they're entrepreneurs, but one of the problems that they have is they don't document their lifestyle enough. It's like, oh, I'm a private person. It's like, yeah, okay, I understand that, but there's nothing stopping you when you're in Saint-Tropez to just get a photo to show you were in Saint-Tropez. Because it's one thing saying it, it's another thing showing it, right? And evidence, in my opinion, has got the loudest voice. That's why I litter the internet with my infield videos, my client testimonials. Go on to Christian Casanova testimonials page if you've not done so already. I litter the internet with evidence because I think at the moment we live in a trust recession where everybody makes these bold claims. Everybody makes these crazy offers. Like, we'll get you 10 clients in 2 minutes, otherwise we'll buy you a yacht. Like, I think the world is bombarded now by bullshit. And I think if you're the person to actually show evidence, then you separate yourself. So yeah, fine. It's okay to say, yeah, I was in Milan last week with my friends and it was nice. But then if she can see that on your Instagram page, it connects the dots. It shows you actually are the version of yourself who he says he is, right? And this is why old school pickup is dead now, because any moron can make things up. Any moron can say, "Oh yeah, I've got 10 Lamborghinis and my dad's a multi-millionaire and yeah, my best mate's Warren Buffett." But like, anybody can say this shit. But really, Instagram allows people to cut through the bullshit, and you can actually document your lifestyle. And if you're not building an interesting lifestyle right now, then that also needs to get fixed, right? Beautiful women are a beautiful byproduct of a beautiful life. Yeah, the days of being some low-life loser working at the car wash and thinking you're going to be banging supermodels in your Toyota Yaris, those days are gone, my friend. You actually need to be something of value. That's why it's not just about cold approach. This really is about life game. You know, it's life game mastery. It's excelling in every single metric of human existence. And it should feel fun as well. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, have some form of social media status. It'll make your life so much easier. The profile will do a lot of the heavy lifting on your behalf. The next point that I've got here is once you have done your first 100 approaches, just make sure that you are prioritizing the women who you actually want to date. We've gone over that previously, but I think reiteration is consolidation. We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. So when you do see women and you think, fuck me, she's beautiful, you have to capitalize on those ones. Don't just approach girls because they're safe or you think you can get them. That's what a version or a former version of you would have done. But in order to get the hotter women, or in order to live a better lifestyle, or in order to make more money, we need to be prepared to step into bigger shoes and become the version of ourselves who can have these things. Understand a lot of times we don't necessarily get what we deserve. We get what we think we deserve. So it's important that when you are seeing strikingly beautiful women who maybe a former version of yourself would have rejected yourself on her behalf, it's important that you push through that resistance. Remember, you're only one approach away from everything changing. Another really tactical, tangible thing is go for instant dates on Monday or Tuesday after 5 p.m. Right? So usually on a weekend, it can be harder to get instant dates because women have got plans with their friends or whoever they spend time with. So if you go out with the intention to get an instant date, go out on a Monday or a Tuesday after 5 p.m. Usually the weekend is done. People don't have as many plans on a Monday or a Tuesday. So if you go out and people have finished work, you are more likely to get instant dates with women because they just don't have plans on that day. So if your intention is to get dates with hotter women from cold approach, then you can stack the deck more in your favor by capitalizing on those times. That's just a tangible thing you can start doing. And then the other things that I had here was changing locations. So environment really is everything, and good game can't make up for a shit location. I had way more success in Rio de Janeiro as I compared to the dating success I had in Leeds. it maybe part of it was character development, but in somewhere like Brazil, I was able to leverage rarity, right? I could leverage the foreign factor. And I do think a big part of, let's just say, romantic arbitrage is if you've got the means to travel, then position yourself in the environments where you are appreciated, where you feel your best, where you are treated well. Again, this just comes back to my impending doom slash mortality thread. Like, there is such a finite amount of time that we've got on this planet. So if you're currently in Crewe in the UK, working a job that you hate in a city that you despise, then no one's coming to save you, motherfucker. You don't have to be there, right? Because when I was living in Leeds in my grotty apartment, when I was a porn addict with erectile dysfunction, I looked at myself in the mirror one day. I was like, you know what, Christian, this is where you deserve to be because your actions don't align with your ambitions. You're exactly where you think you deserve to be. So a change of location can be huge. Now, maybe you're just starting off in your career. Maybe you're a young guy like I was 5 years ago. I guess I still am kind of young. Then just do the best with what's in front of you. So when I was in the UK, I was traveling to Leeds. I was living in Leeds. I was traveling to York, Manchester, Liverpool, London, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Cambridge. I was just going all the way around the country because I was so obsessed with just learning the skill of cold approach. I didn't have a lot of money. I was taking the National Express bus to all these different places. But I was learning the skill. I was going balls deep into the skill. But as soon as I went places like Krakow, Rio, Barcelona, I found that I was able to get hotter women more consistently just because I was more of a rarity over there. I think the best client example I can give to you is my client Ephraim. Like when he first trained with me in Warsaw, he was pretty much one of the only black guys in Warsaw. And he had this self-limiting belief that the women in Warsaw would not want him because he was black. And I said to him, dude, the women here are going to love you because you're black. You are rare. They don't see guys like you every single day. So lean into that. And that's how he was able to get multiple days a week, going on 3 dates on the same day. Obviously, there's more that goes into it. It's the skills that he built, the character development, pushing through adversity, but being able to lean into that rarity. Like, where can you position yourself that you are more rare? Because again, we live in this incredible world where opportunities are everywhere. We have the capability to travel and go to these new locations. So why limit yourself to fucking Crewe or Grimsby? Like, why? I don't get it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, but it's easy for you to say. No, it's not easy for me to fucking say, motherfucker. I'm doing it now. 5 years ago, my life was an absolute hellhole. But I think sometimes guys are more obsessed about fighting for their excuses as opposed to fighting for the things that they want. So anyway, it's your life. Do what you want to do. And then the final thing that I had here was rather than cold approaching, focused on warm approaching. So I think it's important to pay attention to the women who want you. So one of my dating philosophies is rather than going out there to game the maybe girls, is go out to find your fuck yeses. So when you walk over to women, pay attention to the ones who just like you instantly. Now, you're not going to be able to warm approach until you've got practice cold approaching. Like, guys have got this fallacy that, oh, well, when I'm on my way to the gym and I see a girl, I'll go over to her. Well, you probably fucking won't, Derek. You need repetition with the cold approach first. So get those first 100 cold approaches out the way ASAP. And then when it comes to warm approaching, just pay attention as you're going through your day-to-day life. It might mean putting on a nice shirt. It might mean dressing up during the day. Like, most people dress down during the daytime. But, one of the things that I remember I did was I would wear that, the blue blazer. I would just wear a blazer as I was walking around the streets of London or Milan or Barcelona, and it definitely attracted eyeballs. It definitely attracted attention. And when you see women who are looking at you, you can go over there audaciously, like, hey, I just saw you checking me out. Yo, I'm not just a piece of meat. I've got feelings. By the way, I want to take your number. So warm approaching can be a great way to get more dates because you're paying attention to the women who want you, the women who've already signaled interest. They almost allow you to experience the success in advance. It's like an open goal. You just need to kick the ball inside. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to go deeper on the things that I teach, my philosophy is anti-game artistry. I don't teach game, I teach anti-game. Game will turn you into a robotic loser. Anti-game will turn you into a socially sovereign savage who not just excels in the game of dating, but life game. So I've written my free blog publication underneath this video. So if you want to look at more so about what the system actually is, how it works, the people who it's for, the people who it's not for, will it work for you, will it not work for you? Then yeah, just click the first link underneath this video. You can read it, maybe whilst you're on your commute to work, whilst you're in the office, or whilst you're having a big old meaty shit. Wherever you want to read it, wherever you want to consume it, it's your life, do what you want. I might know nothing. The more I learn, the less I know. But if you have enjoyed this stream, then do us a favor, drop it a like. I'm doing a live stream every single day. And now I'm going to go to my favorite Korean restaurant and eat kimbap. Bye.